Hey, all work, no pleasure. I ain't here to make friends, big stepper. Hey, bad guy, Heath Ledger. Ready for wherever, I'll be front and center. Don't fly too close to the sun, your body chopped up by propellers. Came in arrogant, but left out in a stretcher. The comparison, y'all know y'all couldn't replicate it. Chilling in the desert, I'm good under pressure.
Stick around, let me hold it down, look at what we found.
This a marathon, not a sprint, let's go 100 miles.
From the ground, we need to the clouds, never coming
down. Welcome to the official podcast of PHP Architect. Join us to listen to the latest news and tech talk from our conferences, the magazine, and wider PHP community.
Hey there, and as the nice lady just said, this is the official podcast of PHP Architect. This is episode 2025.04.10. Wow. Man, clock is ticking. I am your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me, as always, is John Congdon.
40 days. Just 40 days.
This podcast focuses on all things PHP and web development. We also touch on the larger PHP community and the general life of being a developer. And, of course, we talk about our company, PHP Architect, the magazine, and the conference. We record every week on Thursday around 3 p.m. Pacific time. This podcast is made a little better thanks to our partners over at honeybadger.io. Honeybadger helps you deploy with confidence and be your team's DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and performance monitoring in one simple platform. It's free to get started and set up. It only takes a few minutes. Be the hero your team needs. Suit up at honeybadger.io. More on Honeybadger a little later. If you don't happen to watch the live stream and only listen to the audio version, we would love for you to join us live. And you can do so by subscribing to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PHP Architect. And make sure you hit the bell. PHP Arch, yes. And make sure you hit the bell to get notifications. And you might be asking yourself, but Eric, why do I want to worry about joining the live show when I can listen to the cleaned up and crystal clear audio version? And you would have a good point, but you would then couldn't help us make the podcast better by joining us in our Discord at discord.phparch.com. And you too can become a participant in the live show as you see the messages start rolling in right now. And that's it.
Sarah's with us.
Hey, Sarah. Sarah's with us. O for FS is with us. O for FS is with us. Jeff is here, and Mr. A was a speaker at Tech. Right? He's speaking again this year, isn't he?
He is speaking at Tech.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. Yeah, 40 days, as we quickly alluded to earlier. It's coming up so fast, man.
Yeah, we're not counting or anything. I think last year we used to have a countdown in the background. You had your little clock thing.
Yeah, I did. I was just telling. I was on a meeting with one of our clients today, and one of the people in the meeting does voiceovers. He's got one of those voices, so he does voiceovers on videos and stuff like that. And I saw his setup, and I'm always very envious of these people who just have those nice setups for like half the time they're not even like podcasters or anything. They have just invested in the setup. And I was just telling him how I miss my shelves behind me, and I've been contemplating moving them, but I mean, it would be such a pain in the ass, and I don't want to. And I'm still not sure I like where my desk is either. That's the other problem. Like, I don't think I like where my desk is. So I need to do something with my background, because all I got is my little arcade game back there with my elephants up top there. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Why is Tony not up there?
Huh?
Why is Tony not up there?
Well, I was going to lead into that a little bit, John. You kind of sniped me a little bit.
That's kind of what I do. I'm kind of mean that way. I know how to ruin it.
Yeah. Well, so what I was going to say is we had our first new version of the user group yesterday, or wait, no, Tuesday,
Tuesday
right?
night. Yeah. Yep.
And
Tuesday.
it was great meeting. But the best part of it is I got to kidnap Tony, the the bear. No, this is an elephant. It's the plushy elephant that attendees are getting at Tech this year. And so he is in my hands, and we are doing a photo shoot this weekend, right, Tony? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're doing a photo shoot this weekend, so I can get pictures up on the socials.
In other words, the pictures I took were no good or not good enough.
I see. They were just, just new pictures. I should have said, I guess, new pictures. I really like Tony. I like him. So yeah, if you're not going to Tech, there's still time to buy tickets. I'm just saying.
I got a message from Mr. Sagi about the elephants. And I'm still not 100% sure what he meant, but he wrote to me saying, "I'm actually getting concerned about the elephant. Did you get them already?" And I didn't know if he was sending elephants over or if he meant, did we get our shipment of Tony's? Because he's international and he hears all the international, like all the import stuff that's happening.
Oh, right.
So I think that's what he meant, is he's concerned that we're not going to get our elephants in time because of all the trade war crap that's happening right here.
Tariffs and everything.
The good news is, yes, we have them. They are on our trailer, ready to go. No worries there.
Yeah. It did. This was they're actually at our top secret PHP Architect cave somewhere here in the continental US, so we don't have to worry about shipping anymore, but we do have them on site. We have had our eyeballs on, well, not our eyeballs, but Alfred's eyeballs. Let's call him Alfred. And so we have that. But no, it was nerve-wracking because the elephants hadn't come by the time the administration had switched hands. And there was, we already knew what the plans were with the new administration. So it's like, okay, we already paid for our elephants. Like, they can't tariff something we've already paid for, can they?
Oh, yes, they can.
Yes, they can. What? Yeah, you're right. You are going to piss me off, Sarah. PHP Day. So you're traveling? Dang it. I'm telling you,
but we'll be back for Tech. Just in the lobby.
We need to travel more, man. We need to travel more.
I agree.
We need to get out there and see the people.
You're in a position where you can, Mr. Empty Nester.
This is true. Yeah, we were just talking about that, aren't we?
I mean, I can-ish, sort of, but it's a little trickier for me.
Yeah, especially when they're in school. That's really tough when they're in school. So.
Yeah.
We had our PHP XSAN /SD PHP meetup on Tuesday. It was very casual. We didn't have a talk. We were just kind of meeting everybody for the first time. Yeah. Well, not all.
Second time since COVID where we're trying to get this rebooted with our in-person user group. And we had quite a few like people that used to attend back when it was very regular, over the past 10 years. And then a couple people that were coming to the reboot after COVID last year or the year before, whenever we did that one. So yeah, it was good seeing similar faces again and then meeting some new people.
So did you catch that one of the attendees went to Tech last year?
I did not.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, I feel so like, I hope they understand how many people we're meeting and how much stuff we have going on. Like, we're not going to remember all the faces. And he didn't act like he recognized us either. So I don't know. But yeah, he was like, yeah, no, I was at Tech last year. I'm like, because I think you'd brought it up. And he was like, oh yeah, I went to that conference. It was really good. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Some positive feedback, because it's the night started off pretty rough. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, it was entertaining because it's just like, yeah, it's cool that we have the position we have now with PHP Architect, and it's not like we're rock stars or anything. Everybody knows who we are, even in the PHP community. So like, we're all sitting there, and nobody knew. Like it felt like there was a good amount of people there that didn't know what PHP Architect was, which blows me away. Like I can't. How do you not understand? Like how are you doing this? But I have to remember we're like different animals, man. Like this is just stuff. We live and breathe this stuff, man. So
We sought out a magazine. We sought out conferences back in the day.
yeah, true.
Like we had to find it on our own versus stumble upon it.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. So I try not to get take too much of an offense to it, but it hurts. Every time it hurts a little bit. So yeah, it was good. It was good catching everybody up, and
Well, let's rewind a little bit. Our night started off very rough, where we show up to the venues. We've never hosted at this venue before. We got in touch with somebody at a co-working facility. I guess we can give them a plug. Nest.
yeah,
Co-work.
no, we absolutely should. I mean, it's
Yeah. Nest Co-work down here in San Diego offered us space, but then he wasn't there. Like we had plans to meet with him and get to know him before or after the meetup, but he ended up leaving early. And he's like, "Yeah, just the doors are open. You're going to be in this conference room." Which, okay, we get up there. There's somebody in the conference room at that time, so we wait, and they end up leaving. And then Eric and I go and we post up, and we have magazines on the table, stickers. We had our cooler of beer and soft drinks and water available. And we're sitting there trying to just get ready. We still have like an hour before people are supposed to arrive. And this woman kind of walks in, and there's kind of a kitchenette in the room. And I'm like, oh, she's in one of the office spaces, so she's just coming in to get something out of the refrigerator or whatever. She walks out again. And then she comes back in and puts like these baby dolls, like decent sized baby dolls on the table. And we're like,
hello?
Because
until she did that, like up until that point, like she never even acknowledged we were in the room, So I'm looking at her, and John's looking at her, like trying to make eye contact, and she's just like doing her thing. She doesn't look up. The fact that there are two people in there doesn't even phase her. And to your point, that's why I thought she was just coming in to get like a drink or something.
Right.
And then she starts laying these baby dolls out. I'm like, hello.
Eric asks, are you using this room? And she goes, yeah, I do a CPR class every Tuesday and Wednesday night. Like,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was funny. But to the what we said their name, right? Ness. Yeah. To their credit, I reached out to the owner. I'm like, hey, looks like this conference room is being used. He's like, oh, no big deal. Just go in the lobby. Just arrange the chairs, and the lobby's pretty big, and you got a television there. So John and I go out there, and we start setting up. And we're like, let's just do it outside. It's like, let's go outside, which seemed like a good idea at the time. And we do that, and we get outside, we get everything set up. John found a television that was on wheels, so we wheel it out and plug it into the laptop, and then the location of this place, you can look them up. The location of this place is right by the landing part of the of the San Diego airport. So appropriately, PHP San is the airport here. So like when planes were landing, we could see the passengers in the window. they were joining us for the meetup for that quick second. So, but by this time, like we're like, okay, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. And we look over the lobby, and like this little drum circle started forming in the lobby.
Literally a drum circle.
We're not going in there. Yeah, that I wasn't being sarcastic. No, it was a drum circle forming in the lobby. So we're like, guess we're not going back in there. So yeah,
a very active co-working space. Let's put it
very active. Yeah. So yeah, we are trying to confirm the date for next month, but that was probably the most encouraging part, because we hinted around that we weren't going to meet up in May because of the conference, and we kind of felt like everybody wanted to meet up, and John's a softie, and it's like, no, yeah, we'll meet up. Like, we will. So we had decided on this already.
We've got nothing going on next month. What are you talking about? Yeah, we should have renewed our CPR certificate while we were there.
Which makes you think I didn't, man. I did. We should have brought on some more Texas. That was the wrong one. Yes. Yeah, we should have converted a few of them. See if we could convert a few of them to PHP developers. And I'm gotta be honest. People going to CPR training look very much like developers. Like, every time I saw them walking down the hall, I'm like, okay, are they going to turn? They look, where are they going? That looks like a developer. That could be a developer for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we ended up with 10 people out there. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was hysterical initially, because I have a mathematical equation in my head with meetups specifically and people who RSVP. And basically, I always say only 20% are going to actually show up, 80% won't. And John did the math. He goes, okay, so you're saying there are going to be 6 people there, right? Is that what it was? 6?
Something like that, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said.
No,
it was
with 6. With 16 RSVPs.
What?
It would have been like 3 or 4 people.
Oh, okay. Oh, we weren't counting ourselves. That's what it was. So John's like, yeah, you said 6 people, and that's what we have, are 6 people. And I was like glowing. And then John gets a text, because the front door gets locked. John gets a text, and there's like 4 people outside trying to get in. And I for a brief moment, I was going to say, sorry, can't let them in. Meeting started. We can't let them in. I just wanted to be right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't understand what happened. Like, they had texted me, and I had been checking my phone for messages from people, and I just didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Too busy talking.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember when we had those situations before, we usually would have somebody just hanging out down in the lobby, right? Is what we used to do.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
It's not fun. It's not fun. And I remember you and I were always playing around with the idea of how they can notify us. Where, like, I think at one point we were setting up something somewhere that they could text that would like notify all of us that there was somebody down there. So maybe we'll do something fun like that again. I had Joe Ferguson's working for us now. I word that, working with us. Nobody works for us or work with us. But Joe Ferguson is working with us now, and he's taking on a lot of the system operations portion of the company, which is great. Like, it's definitely one of the areas we were lacking in. Not that we weren't good at it, not that we weren't doing it. We just didn't have, that wasn't anybody's responsibility. Like, any one person focused on that. So it's so good. It's so good to have somebody focused on that. The problem with it is, as I'm giving them access to things and having to explain what they are, I'm just like, this is just, all right, we're fucking around here. I don't know, man. There's a lot of repos here. So, but I learned the last week, I think, that Joe is Laravel certified. And I forget, because I get so tunnel vision, that we brought him in, to do sysops, but he's a developer. He does development work. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, if you're ever interested in doing some development work, like, let me know. I mean, we got tons of stuff. I mean, there's certain, and I was honest with him. I'm like, there's certain repos I'm going to keep you away from, because they're huge, they're legacy, and if you're not in there every day, you're really no good to us, because a few times you go in there, you're just trying to reacclimate yourself to the code base. It's really tough. But there's tons of things you can work on in tech. The tech website and tech TV were like the two that popped in my head. So I was showing him the code base for Tech TV. Tech TV is a horrible example of how we develop, by the way, because Tech TV, when we did it the first year we did the conference, was like this last second thing we decided to do, and we're just literally throwing things together. And we had created some of the databases through exports of the system we use to do the purchasing, and for the system we use to do the management of talks and speakers. And so I didn't have migrations for them. We just like imported the stuff, and like I'm like, oh yeah, that's not gonna work. There's just so many things. And like I have a bunch of stuff on PHP Tech TV now that like runs in the background that I need to move to our other service repo that we talked about at what was the one? Portland? What was that one called?
Cascadia PHP.
Cascadia. Yeah. I need to move some things over there, but like PHP Tech TV has all these like bastard services in there that I'm like, okay, all right, this watches for live streams on YouTube and then posts to Telegram that the live stream has started, and just like things that just don't make sense. But it was like my repo I was rocking and rolling in. So, but he seemed to understand. He was very, very accommodating.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I share our platinum sponsor for PHP Tech?
I'm wondering why you haven't already. Let me hold on. Let me bring up the page. Bring up the page, John. I gotta bring up the page.
You do that. Hope that's the right link I just shared. Oh, we want to thank Prompt for being our platinum sponsor of PHP Tech.
What is Prompt?
You would ask a very good question, and I would be able to give you an answer.
I feel like they're designed to help you track your biggest challenges, John.
Yeah. They do a lot in the, not medical, but like mental health space. And especially with companies that are running a mental health clinic with scheduling and
Okay,
but it doesn't really matter at that point. They are looking to hire PHP developers.
But nobody go to their website while listening to this podcast. That was jarring. I gotta do it again.
Oh yeah, the sound, right?
Yeah, what is going on with that? What's going on?
And there's no way to turn it. There's no way to turn it off. I think if you just refresh the page, it'll stop. But there's like so many voices, right?
Yeah. There's no way to turn it off.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I wasn't even sharing the right screen. Wait, what bad things are happening here, John?
What did you do?
I don't know. I turned something off apparently. Boom. There we go. This is what I've been meaning to do. So I clicked on there. Go over here. I clicked on this to go here, and this just goes really.
I recommend not using Prompt for a lot
just
of reasons.
typing up
I
a
have so
soap
many
note
great
for my
features
child,
and
taking
integrations
around
that they offer.
26 to 28
But I think
minutes.
the
Now we're
biggest
going
thing what made me the most
my
exciting
PTs
was
love it
the
because they're going
relationship.
home on time to their
Realized
teachers'
they were really
families.
out
They can
there
actually
and a lot of
spend the time with
stuff
the
where
patient.
they
They
were
have
there
the
to
time.
support.
Close it. Thank you. We could hear that.
I was sharing that tab. And I muted the tab, so I just assumed it had muted. I'm sorry, everybody listening.
It was still coming through. Yeah,
we have to charge them for a commercial now, John. If it goes for more than 10 seconds, we have to charge them for a commercial.
Anyway, thank you, Prompt. They came on as the platinum sponsor. They are also sponsoring the speaker dinner, and we're doing something fun this year.
Don't share that.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. But I'm just trying to say thank you, Prompt, for sponsoring.
Speakers you're getting a very special speakers dinner. We hope it's fun. We've already shared with the speakers, right? We did tell them.
Yeah.
You have a very special speakers dinner, so we're hoping it's a lot of fun. We do have we're not done. Well, hopefully not done with sponsors yet. We have a few more that might happen, but we are giving them until tax day, because we need to start getting some stuff printed. We are getting close enough where we got to get our graphics people creating graphics and get them off to printers and things like that. So if you're interested in sponsoring, reach out quickly. I mean, you can always sponsor. It's just if you want to make sure your logo gets on all the material, you want to do that fairly quickly. Yeah. So thanks, Prompt. I'm giving you shit, but we do appreciate you. All right. Let's do this. I had stopped sharing again because I closed that tab. You panicked me. All right, let me regroup here and let's listen to a word from Honey Badger.
Let me tell you a quick story about our sponsor, honeybadger.io. One time, a customer of theirs had a background job run overnight that caused hundreds of thousands of errors to be reported to Honeybadger by mistake. Like many other error tracking and performance monitoring tools, Honeybadger bills for monthly usage, and so this customer's mistake was going to cost them a lot of extra money that month. If you've ever used a monitoring service, you might have experienced something like this. Well, fortunately for this customer, they emailed Honeybadger's support and received the most amazing reply. Honeybadger was resetting their monthly quota and canceling their bill. This is just one example of how much the small team at Honeybadger cares about their users. Ask anyone you know and you'll hear similar stories. Go check them out at honeybadger.io. It's free to get started and setup takes less than 5 minutes. Don't forget to bookmark it. That's www.honeybadger.io.
Thank you, Honeybadger.
Honeybadger.
Oh, all right. What do we have to talk about, man? We really didn't get into our week of work. Did you have anything fun to discuss?
Do I ever have anything fun? I always have my screw ups. Isn't that what I'm known for? How I screwed this. No, it's been going well. I'm actually in the process of upgrading the phone servers that I'm always talking about to PHP 8.4, so I'm hoping to continue to work on that. I just got the automatic AMI builder CI pipeline that we have set up to actually install PHP 8.4, so that's on there. Trying to actually make it work. Still not sure what's breaking at this point, so that's my next step to figure that out. Because why do it the right way? I just brute force it. Throw 8.4 on and see what breaks and fix that stuff, and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
I'm already had to fix issues like running a very outdated library, which we had fixed in the other repo. And I kept running into errors. I'm like, why don't I just copy that crappy pair library that we had over there? So I brought that in. That fixed some of the issues.
Cool. I'm actually trying to confirm it. It sounds like the day we talked about will be doable. Matter of fact, they're asking. Yeah, we can say it now. May 13th, right?
Yep.
So May 13th in May, we're going to try to do another local user group meetup. I'm not opposed to like streaming this. I know Merge PHP is already out there and they do a fantastic job at like streaming local user group meetups. So I'm kind of hesitant to like want to compete with them, and we wouldn't be competing. Matter of fact, they're competing with us. They're streaming today. This would be on Tuesday, so we might do that, but that won't happen until after tech because we need I can't think about that stuff right now. I got too many other things going on.
That was actually a nice thing when we did the reboot a couple years ago. Is we were testing out the equipment that we had for live streaming.
Yeah. So we know how to do it. We're good at that part. You know, we can definitely do it. That would be a good question. Like, do we just? Yeah. No, I think. I don't know. Do we just restream on YouTube like we do this? I don't know. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We might do that. We had a lot of people asking about that. That's why I brought that up. So yeah, we might do it. I mean, it's not like our user group is any better than any other local user group. So if you have a user group near you, go, man, go there, be part of that user group, give talks. I forget, man. The struggle of trying to get somebody to present is like real. It's so real. And I'm like, I always forget that
I
piece
know
of it.
we did it for so many years, and then take a few years off, and you forget how hard it is.
I know. Yeah. So yeah. If be that person, man. Be the person who wants to do talks. And if you're looking for material, the thing I always say, the thing I told the people who attended our meetup is PHP Architect. I mean, any article in PHP Architect you can typically get as like that starting point for a talk for your local user group, and just expand on it.
Yeah. Don't plagiarize it.
easy.
Don't take the examples or word for word. It's just something you can learn, go do a deeper dive, learn more, and create a presentation around it. Unless it's an article I've written, I'm giving you permission to plagiarize it. Because it's probably not going to be in date anymore. So, all right. How was your week? We talked about mine.
I mean, pretty good. Well, you would be proud to hear our mobile developer made an impression today. We have a mobile developer, Brooks, who's been with us for a while now, and the client project that he's working on, that client's been really happy, but it has this bad habit of like stalling, and that recently happened with Brooks because they have multiple mobile apps, and if something goes wrong with the legacy app, everything else kind of gets put on hold because the legacy app is the one out there. The one that Brooks is working on is like this new build, this new project that's not been released yet. So anytime anything happens to the legacy app, everything gets stalled. And I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but it was the first time Brooks had to deal with the legacy app. And we all as a collective were learning like the pain points of working with working with mobile apps. And oh man, what a long couple of we did talk about it because it was the whole web SQL SQLite conversation we had in that's what the problem boiled down to. But so anyways, he got back on the new project, and he's working on this one piece that the client had very specific vision of, and it was all achievable, but historically speaking, it seems to always be challenging to meet up with what they ask. Like, we think we're getting there, and we're not as close as we thought. This time he just hit it out of the park. Like, they loved what he had done. And it was this whole like
and you were taken aback, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I was ready to start writing up his exit papers if he didn't do it well. And here he goes, he knocks one out. And like, damn it, Brooks, I can't fire you now. I just look like the dick in that situation. But yeah, I mean, it's a parking enforcement group, and they do this chalking. And so chalking is like weird. I think it's called chalking because us old people remember, John probably remembers too. They used to have little parking people that go through and they tap your tire with this little piece of chalk. And when they came back through, if the chalk was still there, they knew you had been parked there for too long. They'd write you a citation. Well, now everything's digital. And so the way we do chalking is different. It's all done through the mobile app. And they had a very specific way they wanted the app to look and feel and present to the officer. And he just knocked it out of the park. He made it so that the digital chalking of the tires was really easy, and everything was very clear. And it's like it's an interface that it's just there's just 2 taps and you're done, really. But it was funny because the first version he shared with me, he gives me a little video of it. And all I'm seeing is this little dot move all over the screen, and it's doing this and doing that. I'm like, what am I looking at? And so he had clarified to me. He goes, oh. He goes, I'm sorry. That dot is where my finger would be, like over the screen. I'm not it's not actually like you don't see that on the app. That's just in the developer view. You see the finger. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. And I had forgotten that explanation, and I had forgotten that it was there. And I sent it to the, one of the main people over this client. He's like, I can't tell what's going on with that dot. I'm like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about that. No, that's just dev work. Don't worry, that'll be gone. So, but the cool thing about it, so this was like, I would say one of the big wigs over there, and this was yesterday, and so he gave me about 3 or 4 feedback things. He's like, oh yeah, I don't like this. This doesn't look right. Can we change this? And I gave those things to Brooks, and then we had the big meeting today, the project meeting where everybody's on it. And Brooks had already implemented all the requests that the other person had made. So it felt good, man. It's always good to get that positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like JavaScript, man. I tell you, I keep saying that this year's the year I'm going to get my head around one. And the more I start messing with it, the more I'm like, this is horrible. Why are we doing this to ourselves? But I'll get there. Ugh.
You just don't do it enough, and I'm the same way. I get in there enough to hack around. Give me something existing, and I can kind of make something work. And then I call myself a Vue developer, and I'm not. It's like I can add a field to this piece of JSON that is being passed around, but I spend so much time in like 10 different files trying to figure out, okay, so this is referencing this TypeScript here, but and I keep trying to figure out, how does that even get set? Like, where's the instantiation of this thing? Like,
that's me.
How does
data
get from here to there?
that is so me. I'm like, wait, how's this being implemented? I don't get it, man. God, I don't get it. God, I'm glad it's not just me.
But get in there, hack enough, and I can make something work, and then send it over to the people that actually do the front end work. Hey, I'm a Vue developer. Look what I did. And they're like, yeah, but you should have done this and this. I'm like, yeah, just fix it and leave me alone.
Yeah. That's something else. I got to touch on this, because if you're a developer out there, don't be afraid to mention this, because I was floored by the response we got. So in the mobile app today, in the mobile app meeting, we're going through everything, and this is a well-established company, been doing this for a very long time. They're very, very focused in, just have basically seen it all, right? And we're going through this little chalking app, and everybody's liking it. This looks great. Oh, I love this. They were calling it the wedge, was part of the UI, is what we call the wedge. And they're like, well, we love the wedge thing. That was really smart, blah, blah, blah. And so I just offhandedly say, yeah, Brooks and I were joking around and saying, for Christmas, we should hide a little Easter egg where the wedge becomes a Christmas tree. And I was just laughing, because I love Easter eggs. Like I like making them. I like finding them. And, I just kind of laughing, and that the owner of the company is like, no, wait a minute. Make a note of that. He's like, we're going to have to do that. And I'm like, okay. And the person's like, yeah, we can do that. No problem. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, these officers are using this app all day, every day. And it gets it's just like the same thing, the same screens every day, all day. And they get tired of it. We throw something in like that in there, they're going to love it. Like, yeah, if they're Christian, they might love it, but it might offend the other ones, but you do you, man. So, but yeah, I was excited about that. I was like, and then of course they start going off. No, what we should do, and they started coming up with their own ideas. And I told you,
and then Brooks is like, damn it, Eric, what did you start?
I told the owner, I'm like, hey man, we're developers. We love Easter eggs. So you have an Easter egg, you let us know. We'd rather work on that than a new feature.
Every time they put in a black car, the screen turns black for a second.
Or make them little Knight Rider song with the little wong. Come on, John. You make it worse. You just contribute to the whole problem.
I am a problem maker. All right.
All right.
I want to touch on. I love our Discord community. Always
too.
great stuff in there.
Best looking Discord community out there. FYI.
It's voted number 1 in the entire U.S. or entire
John
world.
and I voted on it.
Yep. If you run Postgres, especially PG admin, there's a critical vulnerability that lets attackers execute remote code. A little RCE for you.
I figured that would be a bad thing, John.
That is bad.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if you need access to your server, install PG admin prior to version 9.2, PHP admin 4 prior to version 9.2, and you can have access to your own server when you get locked out. But if you don't want other people to do that, maybe upgrade to 9.2 or later. Just saying.
I guess I don't know what PG admin is. Is that like
it's just like my admin, right? You used MySQL, my admin back in the day.
No,
it's just a web interface to your database. So it's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
you log into it. You have your tables, so kind of like Data Grip or Table Plus or any of those others, but it was always web based. Throw it on your web server. It was always slow.
I feel like I have used that in the past. It's been a very long time, but I feel like I have used it in the past.
It was very popular 15, 20 years ago. I used it all the time. But same issue. There's always these little problems with it, security issues, because it's a web interface to your sensitive data, and it's just scary. And because they are so popular, people are gonna try and find those exploits.
PHP My Admin, that's what it was called.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, yeah. I was like, man, that doesn't sound right. Webmin is what I kept thinking of. It's like, no, that's not what he's saying. Yeah.
Oh, Webmin was huge too.
I loved Webmin.
Yeah.
I told you that story. I think we talked about it on the show, but
I'm sure we did.
Oh my God, Webmin was the shit back then.
Put that on every server, and you have access to it.
Exactly. That was the thing. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we brought up a conversation, and I don't know if you were part of the discussion, John. Did we have a discussion? Were you part of that discussion at the meetup about that is not the one I wanted? Hold on. Sorry, clicked on the wrong link. Boop. This link? Yes. About native PHP. Were you part of that conversation?
I was not. So
okay,
we were at opposite ends of the table, basically. So I had a conversation with 2 or 3 people at my end, and then you seem to be down at the other end,
right?
Chatting.
So let's talk positive first before we get into it, because this was one of those topics that really seemed to divide a lot of people. So first thing, native PHP has released version 1, so there's no more. I mean, there's always beta versions and stuff, but they have an official released version of native PHP.
What is native PHP?
All right, great question, John. So native PHP allows you to write desktop apps using PHP. It's basically like a wrapper for Electron. And this was the crutch of the issue with some of the people. It's like, why are we adding PHP on top of other things that are on top of other things? It's like, it doesn't make sense. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, sure it does, because I'm a PHP developer and I don't want to have to learn how to write things in Electron. And, they're like, yeah, but it's just JavaScript. I'm like, you don't know me very well, do you? So
I hate JavaScript.
So that was the thing. Now, my big reservation to it, and I'm sure I could eventually think of one, but like the way my mind thinks, everything's a web app now. Like, I'm Steve Jobs, and when Steve Jobs was in that whole era of everything's going to be a web app, everything's going to be with the original release of the iPhone. So I could easily come around to seeing reasons. Like there are, when John and I took over PHP Architect, there were desktop apps to do things. Then John and I, ended up moving on from those things. But
Adobe Air. That's what it was.
Yes, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, it was an Adobe Air desktop. And that's a perfect example of this lesson of, oh, hey, we create this little fix for now for desktop, and then people stop supporting it 5 years, from now, and all of a sudden your product is dead, right? We saw it with Adobe Air and Flash and all that other stuff. So I kind of get that point, but also I don't, right? Like if I'm a PHP developer and I have a need for a desktop app, it might not be the end product, but like at least to do like a proof of concept, I'd probably want to do it in PHP. So I get that. So this is the part that I kind of started to agree with this negative commenter on native PHP. So think it's great. I will say I looked at it when we got home from the meetup, and I'm not sure what documentation I'm supposed to be looking at. Like the documentation here, like I don't know, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot there. So I'm kind of, it's like it just doesn't seem to be a lot of documentation, but I haven't tried building anything yet, so I don't know why. So this person said, and then you're going to charge me money for it? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, native PHP, I don't think it's a pay to use product, but I could be wrong. So I stated that, and he's like, no, you got to pay. For the record, I don't see that here. What I think he was talking about is their mobile stuff that they're looking to do. So if you want to be part of the mobile development, which is something that they are currently working on, they have an iOS version and Android coming soon. You have to buy a license to be a developer for that. Which, again, most mobile platforms, if you're going to use their pipelines and stuff, will charge you to do. But so I kind of understand where he's coming from, because it does seem like there's a certain ecosystem in the PHP world that wants to charge you for everything. So I get it, but also, people got to eat, brother. People got to eat. So don't hold me to any of this. I don't know if there's a fee behind just using native PHP. I'm pretty sure there is not.
There's not. So the very first question underneath that, the pricing, why isn't this open source and free?
Mm-hmm.
We want to build an amazing tool and make it sustainable. A lot of native PHP is already fully open source. With native PHP for mobile, we need to take a different path to ensure that the entire project continues to get the support it deserves. Yeah. And I think that's more around mobile, like especially iOS and Android OS are changing so rapidly, and there's so many different, especially on the Android side, so many different phones, that to try and make this a one size fit all is really hard. Where on a desktop, you're using Chromium behind the scenes, and it's probably pretty easy.
Right.
And it's built. There's not a whole lot more to be done there. Where the mobile side, there's going to be constant changes that need to be made, and probably needing to support phones from today up through 5 or 10 years from now as they keep changing. And then they're like, what about that phone from 2025 that we really liked?
Especially, again, when you have clients like ours who provide the devices to their customers, they're not buying devices every year or every 2 years. They're buying devices once, every 5-10 years if they can, right? And so, like, if well, I don't want to say native PHP, but if the platform you're using to create your mobile apps is not, supporting older versions, but still moving forward, you're kind of hosed. Like, it's a horrible place to live. So, yeah, I can never. I I'm always a little, like, God, this would be nice if it didn't cost money, but we all live that life. Well, we live that life right now where it's nice to get paid for your work. So I don't know. I get it. So anyways, congratulations to the native PHP team for releasing version 1. Hope you guys all the best. Love to see you guys come and do a talk at Tech one year. Talk about the native app, talk about the mobile app, and yeah, love to see that. I love this stuff. If I ever have a native app, a desktop app idea, I will for sure be reaching for you. Yep. That's all I have to say about that, John.
Nice. I actually kind of want to try it now.
Yep. Something else I have. Did you have something else you want to talk about?
No, my cards have pretty much all vanished.
What do you mean? I see them. I mean, they're all PHP Tech.
Yeah, they're all to the additional sponsors of PHP Tech.
Oh, we can talk about them. What do you mean?
I don't know. I was just going to talk about the different sponsors.
Well, let's do that.
I want to thank WP Concierge for being.
Let me pull them up, John. Just keep talking.
A bronze sponsor of PHP Tech.
A what sponsor?
A bronze sponsor.
Bronze. Bronze sounds much better than brown.
Bronze, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
WP Concierge, actually created and run by a fantastic member of our community, Sarah Savage. If you do anything with WordPress and you want that white glove treatment, that hands-on help, maintaining the site, hosting it, reach out to WP Concierge at wpconcierge.com. And thank you for sponsoring PHP Tech.
Yes. And to their credit, our first sponsor, they jumped on board very, very early. Who else we got, John?
We have Laravel.
Laravel.
Thank you, Laravel, for sponsoring PHP Tech. As you know, we already have a handful of Laravel talks. Laravel is a fantastic framework that we use daily in our work. And we appreciate having you on board as a bronze sponsor.
Keep talking, John. I'm checking to see if they have their sponsors up yet. Just
they do not.
They do not. They do not, John. Stop talking. Just move on.
I want to thank you. Say thank you to the Rove team over at, I believe it's rove.com, but I should double check that before I say that.
That's what we have on the website.
Yeah. So rove.com is a group of developers, I believe I think they're in the EU or UK. They build amazing websites and applications. They're actually looking to potentially expand their team, and they will be over talking with people at PHP Tech.
That's perfect.
Check out what they do.
Yeah.
That's rove.com.
Cool. That's it, right? Was there another one?
Vehicle is a community sponsor. They sponsored Tech last year. We appreciate them as well. And unfortunately, they have a conflict, so they couldn't be with us at Tech this year, but they said they will be back next year. So check Vehicle out at vehicle.com.
So listen, I'm going to give you a little tea here. I like saying that now because apparently that's what the kids say, and I don't even know if I'm using it right.
It's even more fun when you do that. When you have kids my kids' age, where you use their lingo completely wrong, pisses them off, and then you just do it on purpose.
So I just said how much I like Easter eggs, but I am horrible at keeping secrets. So I'm not going to expose this secret, but I'm going to say, if you happen to work somewhere or have a company that does you think would have an interest in sponsoring PHP Tech, this year's a really good year to do that. This is going to be a really good year to do that because of things that I don't want to talk about yet because I don't want to spoil it, but this would be a good year to do that. And we'll get back to that in about 10 months, 8 months when we are looking for our new sponsors. And you'll realize why I'm going to say, well, you should have sponsored this last year because then this would be your situation this year.
Eric has ideas that he's been trying to get me to agree to, and I'm still wishy-washy on it.
100% on board with this.
So wishy-washy.
I got another package I want to share. I'm not a big package sharer like I used to be. I used to love sharing packages. I just couldn't keep up with them anymore. But there's a reason behind this one. And I don't know if you're even... God damn it, Eric. Don't do it that way. You want to be on this scene and then share it. There we go. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay. So this package, there's nothing unique about it. It's called Laravel Unique.
It's got a unique name.
Yeah. It's a great concept. So it's basically a trait that you can add to models that make sure that something is being unique, and you have all these different ways that it could be unique. So that's the high level. There's not a lot to that. But it is probably something we all deal with, and I probably deal with it a little bit more than others, and I'll explain here in a minute. So when I first looked at this, I'm like, well, wouldn't you just make the field unique in your database, right? I mean, isn't that what we do? And then I started thinking of my own code. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That one time I was doing something and I needed to be unique before it hit, before I went to the database and blah. So there's always these cases where you want something to be unique, right? So check this out. I read through this documentation. I strongly, it's a good package. It looks solid. I haven't actually used it. I'm going to put it out there. So back to the database thing, right? Why wouldn't you just depend on the database being, a unique characteristic on the database? And there's nothing wrong with that. And the thing we've always talked about is the database should be like your last line of defense on validation, whether it's uniqueness or anything else. That should be your last line of defense. You should be doing stuff before then, like validating,
being proactive.
Yeah. And it gets even more crazy when you start talking about like document stores. Uniqueness isn't such a big deal with document stores, but I mean, it could be a thing. And so, yeah, all those things. But the way that they implement this, that's why I was scrolling. I was trying to look for the implementation because I did this. This was something I learned a couple of years ago. I'm like, wow, why haven't I been using this whole time? But basically, it's leveraging Laravel. So this is a Laravel package. It's leveraging what they call it, actions or events, model actions or model events. I can't remember the terminology, but basically, everything your database does, the save, update, delete, the model has an action associated to it, and you could tell it, hey, when you're doing a save, before you do that save, do this thing. And what I used that for was when I was making UUIDs, right? So I would tie into the save action. I think it's called an action. Correct me in chat if I'm speaking incorrectly, but I would tap into the save action. I'm like, hey, create. I'm sorry, create. I would tap into the create action. I'm like, hey, when you're creating a record, I don't have a UUID, so create a UUID and add it to this variable and put it in the database with the rest of the record. It's such a powerful little tool to have. I thought I remember reading this in here somewhere. But it's such a powerful little tool to have, and I don't think enough people take advantage of it. Yeah, I don't know how I thought it was this package that was.
Yeah, it's how it works. The has unique names trait hooks into the Laravel Eloquent saving event, which fires before a model is persisted to the database on both create and update operations.
Yeah, and yeah, that sparked that thought in my head. I'm like, I'm using that all the time now as well, and I never hear anybody talk about this. I don't even remember how I discovered it, but yeah, if you're a Laravel developer and you got weird things you got to do before creating a record or saving a record,
not even weird, just something you want to do.
Yeah, you don't need no need to make it weird, man. No need.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is cool. So great package. Looks like a great package. Maybe I'll use it one day, but yeah, I hope I gave you a little nugget of information. That's all I got, John. I got nothing else.
Nothing else?
No.
Me either. That was a good show.
That was a good show. We there? Oh man, we are there already.
I still can't believe it's only 40 days away. That's
40 days.
Mind blowing to me. I feel like there's still so much to be done.
People have got to be getting tired of listening to us. I understand now. I understand when people say just talk about something else. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it, but there isn't anything else right now. All right, I think that's going to be. I played Honey Badger.
You
Yeah,
did.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's going to be it.
I'm just dropping all the other sponsor links in. So Discord, I'm sorry, you're about to be spammed with links.
That's fine. They'll appreciate it. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been PHP Podcast, the official podcast of PHP Architect, the industry's leading tech magazine and publisher, focused on PHP and web development. Subscribe today at phparch.com to see what the leaders in the community and industry are talking about.